Hey everyone, um, this is a very different opening for all of you, those who watch my channel and the episodes I do. At this time, I want to dedicate this video to the victims, the families, and the responders on that fateful day on September 11th, 2001. Um, I can tell you guys exactly where I was that day. I was in high school. That was the day I woke up into reality, you know, because I back in high school it was all fun and games for me, but not this time when that day happened. But time goes on, we will never forget that day whatsoever. And I know there's one specific person in this world that will never forget it, who's part of the who whose father died in that very day, and we're talking about Michael Angel Trinidad, the father of Zelina Vega. She gave out an amazing speech, a small one, when they were mentioning the names of those fallen victims. And what I did like about it is where she wished that he would have been around for the most memorable moments of her life, such as her wedding, and of course, her husband would have given him some beautiful grandchildren. But there's no turn the clock on this one. But here in Deleted Wrestle Zone, this is for them. So let's start with another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. Now, um, I did not give out the information of what I'm going to be talking about. Right now, there is no new shows coming up on this particular one because there was nothing new, nothing fresh. But all I can do is review past events that took place between this month, last month, all the way to March. So we got four of them today. So right now we got DDT Pro Wrestling, the Audience Tour 2020 to Kumamoto. This took place on the 30th of May. We even got Ice Ribbon's Peace Party that took place on the 2nd of June. And of course, we have on that very same day AEW Destination, which is one of the most awesome events I've ever witnessed. And finally, Freelance Underground, No Place Like Home. This took place recently on the 3rd of September. So these are the events that came around that I'm going to review, even though there was nothing on a Saturday for me. But here in Deleted Wrestle Zone, I never stop. Okay, so let's start with DDT Pro Wrestling, the Audience Tour 2021 in Kumamoto. And like I said, this took place on the 30th of May. We opened up with a six-man tag team match. We have Akito, Antonio Honda, and Shinjiro Tagagi taking on all members of Eruption, Saki Akia, Yukio Sakaguchi, and Kazusada Iguchi. This is one of those matches that I do enjoy every time I look at Eruption because they are a strong faction, especially when it comes to guys like Yukio, who is he's like a mixed martial artist specialist or something because I've seen him that he does a lot of good striking kicks and of course submission techniques. But however, in this particular match, it was Saki Akia who submitted Antonio Honda in a bad way, regardless. As you know, Antonio Honda is a bit of a prankster, but this time he did not get away with it. Now, this next match, I have to say, it was very, very bizarre. We have the weirdo, or should I say, the guy who's openly gay. I don't know if he's really in real life or it's just the act. Then Shuko Dino facing off Shumna Katsumata versus leader of Damnation Daisuke Sasaki. This match went crazy. The entire time, then Shuko decided to take advantage of Katsumata, and even Sasaki joined in on the fun. And I felt bad for Katsumata. He was like he couldn't even get away with him, especially when it came for then Shuko decided he needed to hump him. Now Toi Kojima, who was one of those guys that knows what's it like to be violated by a guy like Dan Shuko, tried to intervene, but it was just too much for him. Now the match ended in a no contest. Now, as I don't know what happened. Then Shuko tried to get away with it, but however, I don't know what in the world got into Toi Kojima. He takes off his shorts and he's wearing Dan Shuko's gear and decides to violate him. And of course, Katsumata doesn't know what to do. He's like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So he's tried to get away with him, but no, Toi Kojima, who's now been possessed by Dan Shuko's ways, I feel bad for him. But I'm gonna spoil this part for all of you. Recently, one of the latest things that took place, uh, Katsumata and of course Konosuke Takeshita are the current KOD Tag Team Champions, taking on Dan Shuko, Dan Shuko Dino, and Yuki Ino. Dan Shuko made out with him, and of course Konosuke didn't do a damn thing. He just sit there. And I'm like, oh my goodness, how could this go wrong for Katsumata? I'm like, I don't know. I thought it was just too funny. Now, the next match, we got another very funny match. Yuki Ino taking on Mao. Now, Yuki Ino is almost similar as Danshuko Dino. He even tried, or Mao was trying to play mind games with him. I don't know which one. I don't know if Mao was trying to make out with him, but it was interrupted. Then he was somehow able to evade Ino out of the blue, but he was able to pick up the victory when he let his guard down, when he had no clue where the hell was Mao, and Mao took advantage and he actually won the match. But I don't know if that will be the end of those two. The next match is another six-man tag team match. We got Keigo Nakamura teaming with Chris Brooks and Adashima of Disaster Box, taking on Yusuke Okada and members of Junretsu, Makoto Oshii, and Jun Akiyama. Now, this is more of the scene where I've been seeing Okada. He seems like he's the perfect fit for Junretsu. He's been teaming with them, and I'm assuming that he's right now currently a member of Junretsu, because he has like the same kind of ways of fighting the way these guys do. But it was Jun Akiyama who picked up the victory when he pinned, I think it was Keigo Nakamura, who is the weakest link in the group. And of course, Chris Brooks and Adashima cannot fault him on that. I mean, I don't know if what the matchmakers thought. Now, this next moment, I don't know if this was a setup or planned or just an opportunity. The GM and members of the staff came out, called out Saki Akia. There was no translation for this particular event. I don't know what was it about, but however, as you know, Saki Akia was the DDT Iron Man Heavy Metalweight Champion, and apparently she lost the title to Shinya Aoki. I don't know if, like I said, if this was a setup or an equal opportunity. As you know, the Iron Man Heavy Metalweight title is a 24/7 title. You defend it wherever you go, and that's what happened. Now, I don't know if Sakiakia believes it was a setup or she just let her guard down. I don't know. There's no translation, but sooner or later she'll get that title back if she can. Now, speaking of Shinya Aoki, who won the DDT title, he teamed up with Yukio Naya to take on the 37 Kamina, consistent of Yuki Ino and Konosuke Takeshita. Um, this was one of those matches that you know for a fact that Yuki Uno is one of the most toughest competitors, and his tag team partner Konosuke, we know he will be a champion when the timing is right. And of course, that's what he did. Apparently, it was Takeshita who put Yuki Unaya on the pinfall 1, 2, 3, and that's all she wrote. Now, our main event is the KOD six-man tag team championship. We have Disaster Box, consistent of course, the cockiness of Kazuki Irata, Naomi Yoshimura, and of course Toru Owashi taking on the champions, Damnation, Soma Takawa, um, Yuji Hino, and of course Tetsuya Endo. Now, this is the perfect opportunity for Damnation, in my opinion. They're trying to prove that they are the most dominant faction that deserves to be the true champions, and that's exactly it. But at certain points, Irada, he's a bit of a cockiness. He doesn't know when to put it up to calm down the BS. But because of that, it did cost them the titles, and they came out empty-handed. But however, in the post-match, Damnation are not planning to put their titles on the line anytime soon. However, the GM says they have to until new competitors are found to challenge them. Damnation is the one group that is the only heel faction I can think of, but rest are like faces or just tweeners. I don't know. It all depends on who do you like. But I have to say this is the one of the most interesting events I've ever seen. But right now, I can't wait to see do fighter cyber fight, which we see the collaboration with Pro Wrestling Noah, Tokyo Yoshi Pro, and of course DDT Pro Wrestling, and we'll do that some other time. Alrighty, so we got Ice Ribbon with Peace Party number 76. This took place on the 2nd of June, not too long ago. We're like right now in September, we're like 2 months away from that. They only had 4 matches, but 2 of the matches are semifinals for the number one contendership for the IW19 title. Now, some of their titles are a little bit weird. Don't ask me why, but they're really fun to watch. Now, let's go with the opening match. We have Zuzu Suzuki taking on Shizuku uh, Sukata. It was a pretty good match. However, I always did notice how Zuzu Suzuki is really an amazing wrestler, even though she's currently in her trials for the hardcore determination. But I've always did favors Zuzu because she's good, and of course her gear is red, and I like red. She is my second favorite color. But she's good at what she can do. I've always been a fan of her. I don't remember what title she had when I first started watching her, but she picked up an amazing pinfall on this one. Now, this next match is the semifinals for the number one contendership tournament for the IWA 19. We have Totoro Suzuki taking on Madeline. Now, I want to confess to all of you guys, I like Madeline. I'm a fan of her. The reason I like Madeline is because she's trained in MMA. She does have an MMA background. I think she competed in MMA, but at the same time, she's very interesting. She tries new things when it comes to her mixed martial arts ways, like being a gymnast, is gymnastics. That's one of the things that I noticed about her. And of course, she is a full time member of uh, World Women's Pro Wrestling Diana. Uh, I don't know why they haven't done a show recently, but that's another time. But what I did like about this match is how Madeline was trying to put Totoro in a submission in every way possible. I think her main weapon was putting her in submission. She was very methodical, very technical on what she was trying to do. Now, Totoro is a big individual, very big. Like, if you follow the stories about Royce Gracie taking on a big guy in his first match in the UFC, people can say in the very beginning, oh, the smaller person is going to lose. Madeline wasn't that, because I have seen her on social media that she's trained in MMA. She can use whatever she got in her arsenal. And that's what exactly she was doing with Totoro. She was using her own build, her weight against her. And I don't think Totoro realized it until it was too late, until she was forced to tap out. And that's what I like about Madeline. Even though she was a smaller person, but her MMA background did help her to win the semifinals. The next match we have is a tag team match. We have Hakura Umisaki uh, uh, taking on Tsukai Aruka. Teaming with her and taking on An Chimu and Honori Hana. Um, those two, the second team, I know who they are. They've been in various promotions, especially Honori Hana, who I've seen her with Seedling. But however, in this particular match, it was Omuzaki and uh, Aruka, who have much more better experience than these two, were able to pick up the victory with an amazing pinfall on this one as well. And as for the final match, we had the other semi-final for the IW19 title for the number one contendership. We have Tekla versus Matsuya Uno, the leader of Joint Army. I have to say it was a very interesting match. Now, Joint Army has a bit of like the kung fu martial arts technique. Now, Tekla, she's a bit of unorthodox. So the real question is, how could this work for Matsuya? Well, it did work for her because she was able to force Tekla when she figured out a way to put her in a submission and force her to tap out, and she advances. Now, I want to confess to all of you, I don't know if I'll be able to see the finals between, of course, Matsuya Uno and Madeline for this title, but we'll see what happens then. There is another one I do have, but I'll do that for some other time. And after that, there'll be no other Ice Ribbon show until further notice. But right now, this is the second to last. So let's move on with what was the other one we're doing? Oh yeah, we're going AAW Destination. Okay, so we got AAW Destination. This took place on the 2nd of June. I have to say it was a pretty awesome event. Great matches that I have ever got to witness. Great storylines that were built up on this one. Now, the opening match, we have Davey Vega being accompanied by John E. Bravo and, of course, Mike Harton, what? Hartenbauer. As you know, Davey Vega has been making a name for himself out of the blue ever since he aligned himself with Bravo. Now, Bravo is trying to prove that Vega is the real deal. Now, do I think he would get the AAW heavyweight title in the future? I believe so, because John Bravo would do anything to ensure he gets something on his pocket. But because of distractions, it did allow for Davey to win the match regardless. The referee didn't see it. However, Hartenbauer still has a little problem he needs to deal with, and that is Shaft. However, two assailants that I miss their names attack Shaft, and apparently Mike Harnbauer tried to take advantage of him, but Shaft overpowered him very easily. So this is not over for a long shot. So Hartenbauer and Shaft, I would like to see that match happen if it's possible. Now the next match we have Manders versus Juice Robinson. It was a really good match, but however, Manders is not in a foul mood. He was in fact still pissed how he and Mance Warner, or was it no, Matthew Justice lost the tag team titles to Infamy. But recently he took out a member of Infamy, and because of the results, they wanted payback. But Juice Robinson was able to overturn whatever scenario Manders was trying to pull in order to win. But as soon as the win happened, Infamy, Joesa, and the Robin Steele showed up to to beat the crap out of them. However, they were interrupted by their challengers for the AAW tag team titles. We're talking about Jake Something and Stallion Rogers, and we jumped in right away. Now, apparently, Infamy are trying to prove that they are the dominant tag team no matter what. They even tried tricks up their sleeves to ensure they retain those titles. But however, they should know better that their feud with Manders and everybody who ever gets in their way, including Second Gear Crew, who are not currently with them, apparently, because of his distraction, they both lost the tag titles, allowing for Jake Something and Stallion Rogers to win them. And that is a bittersweet victory that they deserve. But however, Infamy, they had to put their tag titles on hold for a while in order to get rid of Manders. Now, this next match is called a Call Your Shot 5-way scramble match. 5 competitors are given the opportunity to compete for any title of the choosing. It could be the heavyweight title, tag team titles, the heritage. The competitors we have Ace Perry, frontman Jossie, Hakeem Zane, and Shaft, and of course, Rich Swann. Um, I think many fans, from what I can tell, including commentators, were looking at frontman Jossie, who could be the fan favorite to win. But however, we need to look at who most likely wants to win it, and that is Hakeem Zane. And there's a reason why he wants to reclaim a title that he lost completely, but I'll get to that in a bit. But the match was pretty well received. Of course, Shaft, who is a beast, we know he deserves a title shot, but we don't know when will that happen. But as for Rich Swann, we know who he is. We know he's been in this type of show before. But however, it was Hakeem Zane that pulled the fast one and win the victory. But the real question remained that many of the commentators, is he planning to reclaim the heritage title that he lost to Myron Reed? Or will he go bigger? That is the question. Now, some of you ask me, why does he want the Heritage Cup, the Heritage title? Well, he lost to Myron Reed, and he felt Myron Reed has been ducking him. But this is his one shot. Now, the next match relates to the Heritage title. We have Ace Austin taking on the Young Goat, Myron Reed. It was a pretty good over-the-top match. I was phenomenized with the match. These two guys known each other for years. And they've always had bound respect, and they put that in motion to show, let's just give them what they got. But somehow Ace Austin was able to pull off the victory. However, it does not end there. It appeared Hakeem Zane called his shot. He was demanding a title shot because he felt Myron Reed has been ducking him. No, here's what happened. Hakeem had opportunities twice, and he lost. And he refused to accept that. However, it appears he had a backup plan all this time. When the match was about to restart, his associate named Kari or Karo, whatever he calls himself, attacked him and made sure he stayed down. But it did allow for Hakeem to put him in the pinfall and win the title. And you can call that BS as much as you want. However, they were trying to give him a beatdown, and Gia Miller, his girlfriend, showed up to beg them to stop. But that piece of garbage, Kara, decided to chokeslam her. And here comes Myron Reed to give a helping hand. I hope Myron Reed and Ace Austin team up. They should bring Gia Miller and kick Kara in the groin to teach him a lesson. And of course, Hakeem Zayn got what he wanted because he felt that he was robbed. He already lost to Myron Reed twice. One when he lost the title, and one when he was for his rematch clause, so there was no other chances. But he was desperate. Now, the next match, I have to say, this is a very good one. We have the rising star in the wrestling world. We're talking about Daniel Garcia taking on the return of the American Werewolf. What's his name? Davey Richards. This was exactly the kind of wrestling we were expecting. These guys are in a similar styles. The young generation versus the old generation, and that is one of those classic moments. You can tell in this particular match it was really good. Every submission, every pinfall, everything was perfect. However, it was Daniel Garcia who walked out as the victor. And that's why I say he is the rising star, not to mention he has been making his plays in AEW and other promotions. Not to mention one match I definitely got to see is him versus Minoru Suzuki, and I can't wait for that match to take place. Now the next match is for the AAW Women's title. We have Jody Threat, who won a triple threat match for the number one contendership, taking on Allison Kay. This match was awesome, but however, Allison Kay proven her superiority by putting her in a submission, retaining the title. I think this match was pretty good, but I feel Allison Kay deserves a much better challenger than Jody Threat, even though she is a fiery type of wrestler, but she was still no match. Next match is the case of the Lucha Libre. We got Aries taking on Laredo Kid. Awesome match. Great spots. I enjoy flips. But however, it was Laredo Kid who put Aries in a Spanish fly, allowing himself to pick up the victory. And I have to say, Aries pulled off every move that he did it possible in order to win it. But in the end, it was Laredo Kid, who was the fan favorite and one of the best high flyers in all of Lucha Libre, was able to win it. Now, our main event, I have to say, this is the longest 1 hour event. It was for the AEW heavyweight title. We have Josh Alexander, the walking weapon, taking on Fred Yehi. Man, it was amazing. Including Fred Yehi wanted Alexander to bring out the walking weapon that we know of. And he did. But in the end, the match ended in a time limit draw. I have to say, it was a classic match. I enjoyed every moment of it because their styles are very similar. But the real question is, who will be the next challenger? I don't know. But I can't wait to see what else is in store for all of us in AEW. Who will be the next challengers for all these titles that we just witnessed? Because that is something we definitely need to see and definitely would want to see. So let's move on with Freelance Underground. All right, this is the last review I got. This is Freelance Underground. I heard of this promotion, but I never seen any of their events, and luckily for me, I actually finally get to see one. Their show is called No Place Like Home, and this took place on the on the 3rd of September, a day before The Art of War Games by GCW, and I'm very happy I got to see that too. So this is much of one of their more recent events, and I had to do this one right now. The opening match is the King of the Streets, consisting of Coda Hernandez and Darius Latrell, taking on Devin Monroe and Angel Escalera. I have to say, I never heard of Angel Escalera, but his teamwork with Devin Monroe is amazing. They both were, from what I can tell from the commentaries, that this is the third time they have teamed up, and somehow in three matches they've done together as a tag team, they were so cohesive. And I think that is something we definitely could see down the line with them, because according to them, they should go for the freelance tag team titles, and I'm definitely down to see that if it's possible. But as for the Kings of the Streets, they did a pretty good job. But however, it was the cohesive Monroe and Escalera. It was beautifully executed. Then all of a sudden, here comes Frank the Clown. Now, I'm not afraid of clowns. Frank the Clown never shuts the hell up. Not to mention, if you guys saw the Art of War, he got his butt whooped by Matt Cardona, even though I call that a false move. But however, the one guy he hates shows up. I'm Danhausen. I'm very famous and I'm very evil. He showed up. He was supposed to schedule to face GPA, but however, it was changed to a tag team. So is GPA, or as Danhausen likes to call, Gregory, Paul, Alex, or whatever he called him, teaming with Frank the Clown, him teaming with MDK. Yes, Nick Gage, or as he likes to call themselves, MDK Hausen. And of course, the commentator, she was so thrilled because MDK also stands for another acronym, Murder That the Clown. Yeah, so basically, she's happy that Frank the Clown is about to get what he has coming. Because we know Nick Gage, he is a freaking maniac. You saw the papers, the slice cutter that he uses for pizza, and she hopes she kills him. Like, she is like very fiery about it. But I'll get to the match in a bit. Next match we have is Trevor Outlaw taking on Effie. Now, you would have assumed Effie's gayish tricks would work on Trevor Outlaw, but however, Trevor Outlaw always finds ways to cheat his matches, and that's what he did. He uses the ring ropes to win. Now, Effie knows that he lost in that fashion, but will he get a rematch against him? I don't know. That all depends on how the booking will be placed. Next match, we got Storm Grayson taking on Kevin Blackwood. I have to say, awesome match. It was pretty good, but however, it was Kevin Blackwood that had the much better advantage than Storm Grayson. The next match is Cold Roderick taking on Jordan Oliver. Man, what a showing from Roderick and Jordan Oliver. They're both almost similar in some ways. They're both young, but they have different unique styles. Like, I don't know exactly how to describe Cole Raddick. I mean, I've talked about Jordan Oliver, how talented he is, but Cole Raddick has a unique type of character that you definitely don't want to miss out. But it was him who picked up the victory when he pinned Jordan Oliver. And of course, Jordan Oliver gave him his respects, and that is something we definitely deserve to see. Next match is a six-man tag team match. We have the Bang Brothers, consistent of August Matthews, Davey Bang, teaming with Chris Castro, taking on Billy Starks, Marcus Mathers, and Alfonso Gonzalez. This match was okay. I wasn't too much hype on this one because majority of these wrestlers, I don't even know them. I have seen Billy Starks on maybe 2 occasions. Marcus Mathers, I've seen him in a previous event. I think it was for the IWTV 100 for the ladder match. Yeah, that's the one I see. But it was okay match. But however, it was the, August Mathers who pinned Alfonso Gonzalez to win the match. So it was okay, but not one of the best ones. Then this next one is also really awesome. Greg Mitchell taking on the Iron Beast himself, Shane Mercer. This guy, oh my god, it turned into a no DQ match. They did everything, but there was nothing that was phasing Shane Mercer. I was like, wow, this guy is like nuts. but it was Shane Mercer that put him out of his misery when he put him in a Spanish Fly type move, and 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now we get to the main event, and of course the commentator was happy because she said seeing Frank the Clown get killed by Nick Gage is her birthday present slash Christmas present slash Hanukkah present slash everything of the above. And she's happy because Frank the Clown has no idea who he gets himself into. Nick Gage is not your typical normal wrestler. He will chop you to bits. But he I give him credit. He tried to have balls, but however, when him and GPA see Nick Gage, they start running to the hills. And everybody are calling him coward. They're calling them cowards, and that's what happened. I thought it was a pretty good story, but however, they try to take advantage, thinking they can try to win against Danhausen quicker, but in the end, it was Frank the Clown that had it coming. Danhausen put teeth in his mouth, but it was Nick Gage just chokeslam him, and I thought it was a perfect ending. I really hate Frank the Clown. He's annoying. I wish I could just punch him. That's how I feel. I don't. I'm not afraid of clowns. I just hate clowns that talk too much, and that's Frank the Clown. So I think that's pretty much it. I hope there's more of Freelance Underground down the line. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this episode, me reviewing some past events. Sorry I could not put up any new fresher events that in pro wrestling that I would love to review, but however there was nothing um, until the following episode. So this is what we do have coming up. We do have a new Choco Pro event. I think this one is 153, and also a the anticipated collaboration from 3 promotions. We're talking about Cyber Fight Festival 2020, the collaboration between Pro Wrestling Noah, DDT Pro Wrestling, and Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling. I'm excited. I heard some great positive reviews on that one, and I'm almost catching up with everything else. But if I do have time, I will put out another review if it's possible. Now, it's not 100% for sure, but it's a 50-50 for all of you. And one more thing before I go, I hope everybody had pour out their feelings after today because of what day it is, 9/11, a day we'll never forget. Um, Hope everything turns out great for everybody. But after tomorrow, things will be different. And I think by the time this episode is uploaded, it will be different. But that's how it is right now. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah, and have a nice day.